Maize, more commonly referred to as corn, enjoys a high degree of popularity as one of the main cereals in sub-Saharan Africa, with more than 300 million people estimated to rely on the crop either for basic consumption or their livelihood. 2019 statistics placed the United States of America as the highest producer of maize in the world, while Nigeria sits at the peak in Africa, followed closely by South Africa. The Food and Agricultural Organization of the United Nations, FAO, also estimates that maize is cultivated in a total area of more than 40 million hectares of land south of the Sahara. In Nigeria, maize, which is surpassed only by rice in widespread consumption, is cultivated in a land area of about 6.02 million hectares, with an annual production of 12.76 million metric tons. Cultivated mainly under a rain-fed ecosystem, the National Agricultural Extension and Research Liaison Services notes that the maize sector is dominated by small-scale farmers who cultivate an average of less than 2 hectares of maize and constitute over 80% of the farming population in Nigeria. Although maize grows in most parts of Nigeria, the major producing states are Kaduna, Borno, Niger, Taraba, Ogun, Ondo, and Oyo. Statistics from NILS shows that the northeast, northwest, and north-central regions of Nigeria are the main maize-producing areas, contributing about 25.43%, 22.97%, and 25.88% respectively, while the southwest, southeast, and south-south produce 14.87%, 5.25%, and 5.60% respectively. According to the International Institute of Tropical Agriculture, IITA, there are about 50 species of maize, which consists of different colors, textures, and grain shapes and sizes. However, the more common ones in Nigeria are the white, yellow, and red species, which are usually eaten roasted or boiled on the cob. The crop is also processed into porridge or pap that is a delicacy in most parts of the country. Besides constituting the major diet of many Nigerians, particularly during the wet season when it is grown, maize is also used to manufacture animal feed and forms a major raw material for the production of fuel, starch, and food sweeteners by the brewing industry. The varieties of produce to which maize can be applied, whether for consumption or industrial use, is what has encouraged interest in the increased production of the crop. All stakeholders agree that importing maize, which is an important cereal in many a Nigerian home, is an odd situation given the country's vast land and water resources. This explains why the Central Bank of Nigeria, CBN, in line with the drive of President Muhammadu Buhari, collaborated with the fiscal authorities to intervene in the maize value chain. The focus was clear: to support self-sufficiency in maize production. Although Nigeria remains the largest producer of maize in sub-Saharan Africa, churning out about over 12 million metric tons per annum, the country still has a deficit of about 4.5 million metric tons, which are addressed through importation. Some have attributed the situation to large farmer apathy, triggered by lack of access to cheap finance and attack pests, which has reduced many maize farmers to subsistence farming. The objectives of the CBN intervention are to increase maize production by 1.6 million metric tons by 2020, create jobs and enhance the skills of Nigerian people in maize commodity, facilitate easier access to funding for farmers, and to improve and grow the economy. As part of its financing framework, the CBN is facilitating funding of maize farmers and processors through Anchor Borrowers Program ABP Commodity Association, private prime actors, state governments, Maize Aggregation Scheme, MAS, and the Commercial Agricultural Credit Scheme, CAS.
A lot of the poultry sector and other industrial concerns, Nestle and Co, all use maize and other byproducts of maize. We have a maize aggregation scheme in place. We've given them facilities in excess of 40 billion. So they are supposed to go and buy the produce. So they will act as off-takers. Once these farmers produce, those we finance under the maize aggregation scheme will go to these farmers, buy the products from them, or buy the products that have been taken to the various silos in the country, such that the entire value chain is fluid. So that's what we're doing on maize.
Determined to address the demand gap through an increase in maize production, the CBN leveraged its existing relationship with the Maize Association of Nigeria, MAN, by extending financing to smallholder farmers, in addition to engaging large-scale maize processors with outgrowers scheme, such as flour mills, Olam, Wakot, and other feed mills across the country. One of the first interventions of the bank in the maize value chain was through the Nigeria Incentive-Based Risk-Sharing System for Agricultural Lending, NISAL, which it established to guarantee up to 75% of the face value of loans granted to players in the maize value chain. It ensured about 50% of losses incurred by large farmers and about 75% of losses incurred by small and medium-scale farmers. Under its Commercial Agriculture Credit Scheme, CAS, the bank disbursed 19.903 billion naira to farmers and other agricultural entities involved in production, processing, storage, inputs, and marketing of maize at the rate of 9%. To fast-track self-sufficiency, the bank introduced the Maize Aggregation Scheme, MAS. This move is to enable silo concessionaires and feed millers to purchase and preserve locally produced maize from farmers. With the 8.72 billion naira approved for the finance of 53,644 farmers under the affiliation of the Maize Association of Nigeria, MAN, in 2019, it is expected that the cultivated 62,910 hectares across 30 states of the country will yield 188,730 metric tons. The CBN also sought the collaboration of 12 river basin development authorities on the use of irrigable land in their respective areas of operation during the dry farming season.
Maize is a crop that can be produced 3 times a year, and working with the river basin authorities would try and unlock that land and fulfill the vision of the governor, which is to breach that 4.5 million and indeed produce in excess so that we can start looking at the export market. So we're working with the river basin authorities, and in 2020 we'll try as much as possible to unlock that potential. We're looking at bringing at least 200,000 additional farmers into the maize value chain.
Between 2017 and 2019, the CBN funded 164,944 farmers who cultivated a total of 218,765 hectares of land. Let's flash. Number of farmers funded by CBN: 2017, 23,823. 2018, 87,477. 2019, 53,644. A grand total of 164,944. Number of hectares cultivated: 2017, 26,669. 2018, 129,186. 2019, 62,910, making a total of 218,765 hectares. The total amount disbursed for maize under the Anchor Borrowers Program ABP is 36.513 billion naira. To build on the foundation laid in 2019, the bank in 2020 plans to support about 150,000 farmers to cultivate over 400,000 hectares of land with an expected yield of 4 tons per hectare in order to meet the projected production of 1.6 metric tons by the end of 2020. As at May 2020, a total of 291,124 farmers had been captured in the bank's portal, while 154,732 had been validated. The bank, through its Development Finance Department, is partnering with research institutions and universities that have agricultural faculties to encourage research of high-yielding seeds for maize. Already, the Maize Farmers Association of Nigeria, MAAN, has keyed into the research drive for the high-yielding varieties of maize to increase the production of the commodity to meet its demand in the country. Similarly, the International Institute of Tropical Agriculture, IITA, is also supporting an outgrowers program to investigate ways to increase maize yield and maize farmers' income in Africa, particularly in Nigeria. With the CBN supporting the maize value chain through its bouquet of interventions, the maize sector in Nigeria is surely on the threshold of a revolution similar to that witnessed in the rice sector. Added to that, with conglomerates now urged to source their raw materials locally, it is believed that farmers will be guaranteed ready markets, coupled with higher earnings, as they will sell directly to these conglomerates. The interest of the CBN and the fiscal authorities in ensuring self-sufficiency in the sector and the support declared by other stakeholders along the value chain will incontestably harness the huge potential offered by the maize sector to improve the country's earnings, as well as provide the desired jobs for Nigerians.